Hey guys, I'm Enigmius, and I'm here today talking about Rebirth, the sandbox space shooter from Egosoft that just launched today, November 15th, 2013. Now, game launches, especially for eagerly anticipated sequels, are that crucial time when expectations meet reality for the first time. Everything that we wanted is confronted by everything that we got, and we start running through our mental checklist to see if everything arrived as we promised ourselves it would. I just want to point out, it's very hard to say to someone who's experiencing performance issues with a game they've been so looking forward to that they shouldn't be disappointed, even if they were told beforehand that their hardware wouldn't quite measure up. Now, we could once again review the difference between minimum and recommended specifications and what they actually mean in the end, but someone who had planned a certain amount of time playing a game that barely runs doesn't want to hear that, and I can appreciate that, I really can. But if I say to you that the footage you're watching is being generated on a PC that barely meets the recommended specs and is being played at 1080p with medium settings, you can't really say the game isn't performing all that great. Now, we do know that at this time there's still an issue with Nvidia cards not being recognized by Steam, which Steam feeds that information to the game, and the game says I'm using this internal graphics card, or integrated graphics, that's just not very good. And that's not a problem with the game, it's a problem with Steam, and there are solutions and fixes. If you've got an Nvidia card, you can poke around and find them. I don't, so I didn't really track down any links, but it's a thing, it's a known thing, it's been around for well over a year now. As far as Rebirth goes, there are bugs to be found here and there. I found one particular NPC who seemed very fond of deep knee bends, and one situation that I now can only assume is a bug involving my view screen while flying my ship. I don't recall when this started, but it sure makes it hard to see. An hour after the game was made available to play, people started posting back with their first impressions. Now, here's a hint for those of you looking at Rebirth as a possible purchase. Don't base your buying decision on a game with the complexity of an X title based on the first impression viewpoint of someone with an hour or two invested in the game. I'm not saying run out and buy it even if you're not sure. I'm suggesting that maybe you just let things settle down for a while. Now, there are three sort of major design-related complaints I see mentioned, and the first one has to do with the NPC models, their animations, the models themselves, the lip syncing when they talk. Probably the voice acting will come up. And all I can really say is, did you play a previous X game? Did it bother you that the models for the NPCs were mediocre and reused for one NPC after another? Did you mind that the lip syncing wasn't even faked, there just was none? And most importantly, did it impair your ability to enjoy the game? After a while, I felt it added charm. When I first saw it in the previous X games, the models and the voice acting, it was a little bit off-putting. But eventually I came to expect this is just an X game, and this is how they are, and it's part of their unique charm. What people are saying, what I'm seeing a lot is people saying, we have to go into these stations, we have to walk around, we have to talk to these people. It sounds like there's a fix on the way for that, by the way. But nobody can say right now just how much time you'll be obligated to spend meandering through stations if that's not what interests you. I'm just saying, criticizing an X game for humanoid asset quality is like criticizing bread for being born with crust. It's just part of the package. It's not that big of a deal. Another one that's coming up, and I'm really actually surprised to see this, the mini games is what they're being referred to as collectively. Now, I've done the one where you run around in the hangar and open crates. It's like a little babby Christmas deal that you can do or not do. They're crates, you open them up, there's stuff inside that you get to keep. It's not a lot of stuff. I can't really see how it would be worth complaining about if a person doesn't like it. If you don't like it, just don't do it. I saw actually one complaint from someone who said, I don't like doing it and the rewards are crap. Well, if you don't like doing it and the rewards are crap, then you're not losing anything for not doing it. Just don't do it. It's not a big deal. I'm also seeing concern about the highway system. I think it's kind of neat. Now, some people are complaining about it. It's the slipstream minigame is basically what it is. For those who haven't seen it, you're in space. You want to go a long distance, you can find these highways that are basically like bendy tubes in space. You fly into it, it kind of grabs you and pulls you along, and then while you're in it, there are other ships. And if a ship is going faster than you and you slip in behind it, you'll match its speed, you slipstream, and then you can go to a faster ship and a faster ship. It's just a way to occupy your time on your way from point A to point B and get a minor speed boost. It's not game breaking. People don't like it. So for me, I'm thinking, playing previous X titles, I go to a sector and I arrive through a gate and I want to go to the other gate that's 75 kilometers away. I either use autopilot or I just orient myself to face the gate. I go full throttle, hit SATA, sit and wait. Well, in X Rebirth, if you just want to get from point A to point B, you don't want to be bothered with slipstream minigames, you find that the highway, which probably won't be far from where you are, from what I've seen, you enter it, it pulls you along, you just sit and wait. It's not that big of a deal, and again, it's something that if you really dislike it, there's no reason why you can't just opt out. Don't participate. Don't do the slipstream. Let them all pass you. They're not going to laugh at you on their way by. There's no penalty for not taking part. The minigames, who knows what other minigames we might find. Those are the two that people are finding because they're not playing for a very long time before they're forming opinions. You might like them, you might not. It's just a thing. The third is flying around stations discovering nodes is apparently bothering some people. They don't like it. They feel it's tedious. Again, if you're not familiar, the stations, instead of being one station that you communicate with and get a list of NPCs to talk to, there are different sections to each station that you can explore and discover, and each one of those sections will have something going on. It may be a guy who got a trade mission, a guy selling stuff, a guy whatever. It could be a combat mission, place to dock, all kinds of crazy stuff going on, but you have to discover them in order to benefit from them, to make use of them. People saying, I don't like that, it's tedious. Well, how is that different from having to fly around a sector in the previous X games and find and discover all the stations and get within 25 kilometers of them before you can get missions from them, or before you can, know they're there to autopilot to them, whatever. It was the same concept. You still have to fly around and explore stuff, find stuff before you can benefit from it. And this is just different color lipstick on the same pig. If you liked it in the previous games, there's no reason why you can't like it now. It's just instead of a big vacuous void that is space that you're flying around in to get between these guys, it's space stations and stuff with neat little details, and I like them. I find it's I'm not huge on going around and exploring things because I'm still learning how to use a controller to play the game. Once we get into it, once we get used to it, it just becomes a part of the thing. That's sort of the key element of one of the games, is every time when you're just starting out a new playthrough, you go to the sectors and you find the stations. It's just a thing. I don't think it's worth complaining about, and I don't think it's worth allowing it to ruin the game over. Now, I've been around the gaming scene for a while, and there's one thing that carries forward with virtually every game that I've ever followed through development and into launch. On launch day, most of the criticism has nothing to do with good or bad, and everything to do with different. I'm sure the devs at Egosoft are quietly listening and solidifying an action plan for the coming weeks and months, and I have no desire to make myself an apologist on their behalf, just merely trying to offer a rational counter to some of the more subjective complaints. People having performance issues, that needs to be sorted out. People having bug issues, that needs to be sorted out. People concerned a little bit about the UI, maybe there's something that can be done there. As for all these gameplay things, complaining that it's just looks different in X Rebirth than it did in the other games, and it's suddenly completely different and I hate it, maybe just ignore those kinds of comments for a little while. Let things settle down. The game is already showing fantastic potential, and it's well worth keeping a close eye on. At the very least, I'm going to be playing the hell out of it. And I don't want to draw this out, I've already said my bit. So if you want to leave your comments, and you can do so civilly, you can do so in the comment section below the video. And I'm going to go play the game some more. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care.